Yeah.
We are live.
We are live.
Yo! What you got? Your bomb as the opening shot. Nice one.
Hi, Paul.
Hi, Ross.
Hi. Everyone, welcome. Welcome to our very first TikTok Live here with Paul. We're just going to wait for a few people to join. We've only just gone live. So if you could just drop a comment in the chat and let us know where you're tuning in from, that'd be great.
I'm tuning in from London. Where are you tuning in from?
Hopefully we'll see some people commenting right now on the TikTok Live.
What are they saying?
Lots of heart emojis.
Oh, okay, we like heart emojis.
Okay. Right. I think we should start welcoming some more people in. I think I need to ask the first and most important question, because TikTok would not be happy if I didn't ask this to you. Is Paul McCartney happy?
Yeah, I am actually happy. I've got an album coming up, and it's a beautiful day here in London, where we are, sweltering, and that for Britain is pretty rare. So I'm happy, but don't get me mad.
You heard that, guys. Don't make Paul mad. So shall we start with some quick fire questions to warm everything up? Yeah, so I have, this is from the username Vampire Oreo, and they have asked, what is your favourite colour?
Blue came into my mind, and that is probably my favourite colour. But I also reminded of my mum years ago, who her favourite colour was green. And I always thought, why? It was because she was from Ireland. The family's from Ireland. So, how about blue-green?
It's giving the earth.
The earth.
Lovely. And this question is from Daisy Cakes 4. What are your favourite pair of shoes?
Favourite pair of shoes? That's a very silly question, Ross. But I do like, I've got into slip-ons. Because, you know, when you go through airports and they ask you to take your shoes off, if you've got kind of lace-ups, it's like, okay, 5 minutes later you got things off. So with slip-ons, and I have a pair of black slip-ons that are my favourites at the moment.
Nice. And this question's actually in from a username which is actually a load of numbers, so I won't say that out loud. But they have asked, and we're going to talk a bit about the album here. You described McCartney in 3 words: home, family, and love. How would you describe Dungeon Lane in 3 words?
Memories, family, and love.
There's a connection there with your first album.
Yeah.
Miguel Ismico asked, if John could pick a song from the new album, which one do you think he would pick?
Well, that's a good question. I think he might choose Days We Left Behind, because he's in it.
And I've got one final question, and this question is from a special guest. So I'm going to show you, for those of you guys on the TikTok Live, you won't be able to see this, but you'll be able to hear it. It is from Andrew Watt, the producer of the album.
Yeah.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, Andrew.
How are you, man? So
Are you
exciting. Everyone's getting to finally hear this record. My question for you is, why the hell are you so handsome?
Oh, well, why the hell have you got a statue of some weird guy in your garden? Yeah, and that statue Andrew just showed, he was on holiday in like Italy, I think. And someone had done this statue called Orpheus, but it was clearly my face. So Andrew ended up getting it, and it's now in his garden. So I think I'll avoid that question with that answer.
I mean, you're immortalised in stone there. Okay, we actually have a copy of the album right here to hand to you.
Yeah.
I thought we'd do a quick little unboxing.
Nice.
I think it's great that
Here it is.
the album was obviously designed with you and David Lane, and inside we have a silkscreen collage done by Kate Gibb, and some extra help inside the album from Josh McCartney and your daughter Mary on the portrait.
Yeah. It was nice the way it all came together, really, because I asked Mary if she'd mind taking a portrait of me that we could use, because we knew Kate, the girl who did all the screen printing, would take that picture that Mary took of me and make it into that, which I love. I love the treatment. So we did that, and I was talking to David, who was going to help design the whole package and the whole album cover, and I showed him some early photographs that I'd taken when I was a teenager, I think it was, up in Liverpool, and so I said, well, we should use all of them. We should get Kate to silk screen them, screen print them all. And so the thing I like about the idea is that it means you can look at this cover forever. Which is, I remember trying we did that with the Sgt. Pepper cover. We wanted you to be able to just pour over it. Because I always remembered going into Liverpool city centre and buying a record. It would be vinyl in those days, and the half-hour journey back on the bus, you would just sit there and just get into every little thing. Oh, and there's a lot to look at on this thing. One of childhood pictures of me, my brother Mike. And various friends, there's John here, George, and we went on hitchhiking trips. And one of the songs on the album is just called Down South, and that's about me and George. I don't need to put it away. Me and George going hitchhiking from Liverpool down south. So I had a lot of nice memories of that, and that's all incorporated into this. And there's some Hamburg shots.
I have a very important question. What is with the birds?
The birds, okay, so Dungeon Lane, I was talking to David about it, and he said, well, what is it, Dungeon Lane? I said, well, where we lived, in a place called Speak in Liverpool, there's like millions and millions and millions of council houses, like one of those big, house the people projects. And right next door to it, because it was right on the edge of Liverpool, you walk a mile outside our council estate, and there would be like deep countryside, and people's accents would even change. It'd be a bit more Lancashire, Well, it's like you go back into Liverpool and so like that. All right, how you doing? Bloody Liverpool. So anyway, the way you could get out was via this lane that led down to the shore, to the Mersey shore, the River Mersey shore. And so I used to go down there often, and I had a little bird book, which is called the Observer's Book of Birds, and it had all the birds, and it's a pocket book, So I used to take that out. If I saw a bird, I'd kind of look it up and try, read about it and stuff. And my great memory, so that's what the birds are all to do with in here. So these are all birds from the Observer's Book of Birds. But my beautiful memory that I still have, every time I think about it, it's like, was seeing a skylark in a field. You know, and I say to people, have you ever seen a skylark rise? And it's a great sight, because they go up like in a perpendicular sort of column. It's tweeting away till they get to the top, and they sort of stop, and then they sort of glide away. It's a really great sight and a great sound. They glide away to a different part of the field, and you're supposed to think, oh, that's where the nest is. Well, that's actually, apparently, that's the opposite place to where the nest is. The nest's over here, and that's his job, you know, distracting you away from the nest.
Amazing. I can take that off you if you want. If you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool then.
Cool. Okay, so we have some more fan questions that have come in. We asked some of the fans ahead of the live, and this one's come from Malin. What feels most different about this new album compared to your previous ones? Did you go in with a clear vision, or did it evolve as you started writing it?
You know, to tell you the truth, I hardly ever go in with a clear version of anything. I can make it all up, you know. I was talking to Jeff Lynne one of those days, and we were talking about how we never learned to read or write music from the Liverpool invasion and all the groups then. And I said, well, we never learned, you know. And Jeff sort of said, no, he said, we made it up. And that's the truth, we just made it all up. And never really, we couldn't have written it down because we didn't understand notation. I think it's a good thing. I don't ever want to put kids off learning proper notation. But in our case, it was really good because it was just person to person, which there wasn't a piece of paper in between. So that if you had to learn a chord, you just had to show each other, you know, this is how it goes. And we, in the early days, we knew 3 basic rock and roll chords. Well, A, you learn that, and then D, and then E. So, you know, so that's like a lot of blues based on those chords. So we just knew them, and then one day we wanted to find B7, because that was in the E. We knew E and then A, but then we didn't know B7. So, but we heard that there was some guy across Liverpool who knew B7. So we took the bus and went over, knocked on his door, said, excuse me, are you the B7 guy? He said, yeah. I said, can you teach it to us? So he did, and that was, you know, that was basically how we continued. You went on to all the other chords and gradually stockpiled all the chords you knew and the chords you needed for the songs you were writing or for the songs you were copying.
I think as we've been talking about chords, we should talk about how this album started, because it's a great story, I think.
Oh my gosh.
Should we talk about
Yeah,
As You Lie There? Yeah.
I went to see Andrew Watt, who I was just going to meet just for a cup of tea. And so I went to see him, I had a cup of tea, and we're sitting down, and we just started talking about songwriting. And he said, well, what kind of, how do you sort of start things? I said, I don't know, sometimes I said, there's various ways, but sometimes I will just put my fingers on the guitar and just see what comes out. Even if it's a wacky chord,